Zel Boy Army, welcome to another video on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at custom tactics. So the video is called The Best Custom Tactics on EAFC 24. I'm going to talk you through custom tactics in general, how I set them up, and what I generally think is a pretty good basis and way of playing on this game. I just want to quickly have a look at this Cole Palmer, see what his price is like. Put a lot of coins investment in. Who is the best player in your club right now, or the most valuable player? Or doesn't have to necessarily be most valuable. Who do you think's carrying you? 3.4, pretty similar to what I paid, I think. A bit more profit trading with Zelly. But yeah, this video we are going to be looking at custom tactics, and hopefully by the end of the video, you should have a fairly decent understanding of custom tactics, how they work. So obviously we go here to find them. There are 4 sets of custom tactics on this menu, ultra defensive all the way to ultra attacking. Now, this is one of the most common mistakes I probably find when I coach people. So over the years, I've probably coached 500-600, could be more now, I forget. I started coaching in the January of FIFA 18. So 6+ years of coaching now. I coached a lot of different people. And one of the things, honestly, I'd say more than 50% of people neglect to do this, is actually have multiple game plans. That is an important part of your custom tactics set. Do I go off of my defensive that often? Not really. I'd probably say 80% of the time I am in my defensive. It's not a defensive one, it's just the default that I want to spend most of the game in. 15% of the game I'm probably in my attacking. 4% of the game I'm probably in my ultra attacking, so that's only really ever when I'm desperately in need to come back in the game. So if I'm winning a game, I'll never go to that. If I'm losing a game late on or a few goals down 30-40 minutes ago, I might switch to it. Are you sick to death of getting out teamed on FC 24? Want that God squad you've always been dreaming of? Check out iggm.com today, the best and most reliable place to get coins for your ultimate team. Use the link in the description and code ZEL at checkout for a 5% discount. Check out iggm.com today. And this one, maybe 1%, if I'm really struggling to hold on to a game, see out a game against the press, I might turn this on. So you might be thinking, well, you rarely use them, so what's the importance? The thing is, for a lot of people in Weekend League, the difference between them hitting the next rank quite often is game management. And I don't want to bore you to death or tell you about, oh, you need to play super safe, keep the ball, time waste. But I'm not saying to do that, but just be a bit smarter. If you know that you need to see out a game, be a bit more careful. If you're a goal or 2 down late on, so many people that I play against, coach, they just stay in the same tactic. Whereas if someone's trying to keep the ball against you, you need to go constant pressure to get back. You need to take a risk. You might concede a few, but it's a lot more chance to still get back into the game. So that is the base of custom tactics that a lot of people ignore. Don't do that. Have a setup for all of them. And then from there, the first place you should start, in my opinion, is a formation. I've been trying this formation. I genuinely actually quite like it. But my favourite 2 formations this year, if I was to recommend any to people, would be the base 4-4-2. The other one is CDMs. I think the centre mids just get involved a little bit more. Or the 4-3-2-1. I regularly, probably at least once a month, do best formations on the game video right now. I think that's quite helpful for people. For me, one of the problems I think I see with a lot of people, again, is that they just play a formation for the sake of it. They have no idea really what the strengths are of it. And then they try a tactic out and say, oh, this is crap because I've lost a few games, or this is great because I've won a few. And they never explore. When someone makes a custom tactics video, they should at least explain the type of players you need and the patterns of play. I try as much as possible when I get a chance to. I'm very busy now with my life, but I try to do put custom tactic videos out that also have some gameplay in them, or at least follow up with that. You should be able to actually understand what the strengths are of the formation. So, for example, a 4-4-2, one of its strengths is it's just good all around. It's got a lot of stuff that help FIFA fundamentals. It's got width. It's got 2 strikers. It covers the middle. It doesn't really have any major weaknesses. Maybe if it had any, it's the link-up play between the midfield and attack. But generally speaking, it's very consistent across the board. Generally speaking, most formations that tend to be good on FIFA tend to not have many weaknesses and obviously quite a lot of strengths. I guess that's kind of obvious. So finding a formation you actually want to play, understanding it, what makes it work, that's pretty important. And then the tactics. So, really, the way this game plays this shit, I wouldn't ever start anything good than balance. You could go press after possession loss, but I think you don't need to at this point. I think for a lot of people, if they use press after possession loss the whole game, it wouldn't be an issue on stamina, but they'd probably just make too many mistakes and get caught out. The AI presses well enough and keeps its shape so well that going on anything other than balance is probably hurting you generally. Drop back, too defensive. Long shots are still fairly good on the game. It just invites too much pressure. Width, honestly, I've seen people. I see these new TikTok tacticians, Twitter tacticians who hit rank 4, 5 on the game. No offense to someone who's like not hitting rank 1 doesn't mean you're not good at the game. But like people probably like qualified for weekend league saying, "Oh, I'm using this tactic. It's got 1 width and 72 depth or whatever," and they just put crazy tactics out there that maybe work in Division 8, but they're not going to work at a good level. Generally speaking, most pros, their tactics are very basic because you don't really need to change a lot of these. For me, nearly every formation I play has 40 width, 55 depth. At 55 depth, it seems to be a pretty good middle ground for me between 40 depth, where the AI don't really press at all, and 71 depth, where you can literally see the text changes. As you can see there, the text changes on the right. At that point, the team press a lot more. So that's something to know. 55 depth for me is pretty good. Before they nerfed the AI and the pressure in the middle, I think 71 depth was a bit OP. You could times beat it, but now we've got better players with better play styles, more ping pass, stuff like that. I think it's not as strong as it was. Build up play and chance creation, these tend to synergize quite well. You can actually do the opposite, it kind of balances out. But that's probably a video in itself. I think balanced direct passing for most formations works pretty well. Width, I don't really ever go really low width. I think you do need width on the game. Players in box 4 to 6 for me is what generally works. Then when it comes to the instructions, some formations they're really important, some they're not as important. I think work rates matter a lot more this year. For me, I think the important thing on instructions is making sure your team has balance. So if you've got a formation that's already super attacking, and then you put join the attack overlap on your fullbacks, you're probably going to get absolutely rinsed apart. Instructions, again, for the most part, do what makes sense. Make sure they're balanced. If you've got a more defensive-minded midfielder and a more attacking-minded one, make sure the more attacking-minded one's the one who's going to actually get involved more in the attack. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people do dumb stuff and don't actually play around that properly. So that's just something to know. For me, I think that instructions should be fairly self-explanatory. I do explore and mess around with them, but they're pretty simple, really. Again, a good tactics video should at least explain why they've done their instructions, why they've set it up, how they have. There's a lot of different instructions. I'm not going to go through every single one in this video. If you do have any specific questions about tactics, formations, any instructions that you're not sure about, or just any comments in general about this video, do let me know. I would say, generally speaking, you don't really build a tactic to a team too much. But tactics, you don't need to overcomplicate them. A lot of people make, honestly, just bullshit up, waffle about their custom tactic, how crazy it is. They're not beating good players with it. They can beat stinkers in the really low divisions. It's just how it is, just being honest with you guys. Most of my tactics aren't too dissimilar from each other. It's just make sure they're balanced for that formation. And I'm in rank 1 pretty much every weekend, an elite division every season. So there you go. Appreciate you guys watching this video. As always, keep it spicy. Appreciate the support. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.